Okay, so I just want to tell you we've got a real treat today. Amazing concept from Harav Lugassi. It was actually the yahrzeit of my father today, Rabbi Shmuel ben Yehuda, so it should be an elevation for his soul. Please God, as we're technically in England, it's still the date of his yahrzeit. So, we all have this thing inside of us. It keeps on just driving us crazy. It's almost like this animal inside that just doesn't let us rest. Of course, you all know that we're talking here about our Yetzer Hara, our evil inclination. So the best way to deal with this inner energy is, as Shlomo Melech said, Al ta'an kesil ki ivalto, pen tishvelo gam ata. Don't answer to the fool according to his foolishness, lest you'll become like him. Meaning, just don't even enter into the arena. Don't even enter into the conversation. We all know it's worthless entering into a conversation. It's happened to me many times with a missionary. There's just no point. You're not talking to anybody. They're just talking to you. And therefore there's no point. You're not going to gain anything. Gemara tells us, if you want a perfect example of this, of how to deal with the Yetzer Hara, take Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu was approached by the Yetzer Hara, telling him not to go and bind up his son to be offered as a sacrifice. And you can imagine, if it was any one of us, we would have probably immediately fallen to those words and said, "You're right," and would have second guessed, and we would have questioned it, and we probably would have just backed down and never done it. But Avram Avinu kept on pushing off one thing after another. And the way for his success was very simple. He just didn't listen, didn't pay any attention to the Satan, to the evil inclination, as it says over there in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, on page 89b. And even when the Satan said to him, but I got confidential information over here. I'm hearing stuff, me'acharei hapagud, behind the curtain, in the heavens. I'm hearing that haseh le'olah, you're actually going to offer up a ram, ve'ein Yitzchak le'olah, and your son Yitzchak, your son Isaac, is not going to be offered up as a sacrifice. And Avram Avinu answered, he said that the punishment of a liar is that even when he says the truth, we don't listen to him. Meaning Avram knew that that was the truth. Maybe he felt it was the truth. He said, because you've told me so many lies, I'm not going to listen to you even if you're telling me the truth. So for all of us, we need to realize that needs to be our approach too with the Yetzer Hara. The greatest success that we can have is when we have any of those intrusive thoughts, negative, obsessive thoughts, panic, depression, all of those kind of thoughts that so many of us are struggling with all the time, every single day. The best way to deal with it is just push it away. Ignore it. Don't even entertain it, not even one word. Because as soon as you do that, you fall into the abyss. And he's always going to win. It's fine. Absolutely fine to talk about it with somebody else. You can talk about it if you want to spend $150 an hour, talk about it to a therapist. If you want to save yourself money, go talk to a friend. Go talk to your rabbi, talk to your rebbetzin, talk to a mentor, talk to somebody well experienced in life, and they'll tell you this. just don't even enter into the arena. Don't talk, not even one word. Because as soon as you start discussing it and you're on your own, you're going to lose. Because you're dealing with years and years of embedded, entrenched, negative thinking. The only way to push it away is by ignoring it. Think positive. Change your thoughts into positive thoughts and you'll change everything for the better. I'll tell you an amazing story I heard on this point from Rabbi Melech Biederman, Rabbi Eli Melech Biederman. Brilliant parable. It says, once there was a man who was walking along in the freezing cold in the middle of winter. He was walking along the Midrachov, the main street in the city, and he's freezing cold. And he sees a guy in front of him. And the guy is wearing a fur coat. And he looks like he's just so cozy. And he goes up to him and he says, my friend, tell me, where'd you get that coat? He says, the coat. He says, it's not so difficult. All you need is $100. Go to a hunter. Tell the hunter to go into the forest. He'll find you a nice grizzly bear. And he'll shoot the grizzly bear and he'll take the fur. And you got a beautiful bear's fur coat just like I have. Simple as that. So the guy says, but problem is I don't have $100. I'm poor. What am I going to do? So he says, no problem. He says, then all you need, just take some kind of weapon and you go yourself into the forest. Take a bow and arrow, take a shotgun, go there into the forest, find yourself a bear, and you'll come back with a nice, beautiful fur coat, just like me. So the guy thinks, okay, goes into the forest, he's got his bow and arrow, and he finds his grizzly bear. And he pulls back the bow, and he's about to fire at the bear. And all of a sudden, the bear starts speaking to him. Yeah, God suddenly gives the bear the ability to speak. And the bear says to him, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You can't shoot me. What right do you have to shoot me? I have rights as well. What right do you have to shoot me and take away my life? The guy says, but I need a fur coat. And who's to say that your fur coat is more important than my life? He says, you know what? He says, I'm hungry. I would like to eat you. Should I eat you? Just because that's what I want? And he starts saying, listen, this is the only way I'm going to get a fur coat. And the bear says, but what, at the cost of my life? They go backwards and forwards, and all of a sudden the guy's really perplexed. Animal rights. So there's a big issue over here. Animal rights. They're his rights to go and have the fur coat. Does that really override the rights of this animal to live? And besides which, the animal's hungry. And he says to the bear, he says, you know what? He says, but if I didn't have my bow and arrow over here, you would eat me, right? He said, listen, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not discussing that now. Anyway, he sits down and he's so perplexed. Should he do it? Should he not do it? Is the bear right? Is he right? And before he knows it, he puts down his bow and arrow. He's busy thinking about it. And what happens? You can guess. The bear pounces on him and eats him. That's what happens to us, ladies and gentlemen. Rabotai. When we start engaging with the grizzly bear inside of us, when we start engaging with the Satan, with the Yetzer Hara, all he wants to do is to pull us down. It's his job. The Baal Tanya actually says that actually he's really on our side. He really wants us to win. He really wants us to succeed. But at the end of the day, he's got a job to do. And he's very, very good at his job. And the problem is that we start entertaining. We start thinking, we start talking about it. And as soon as we do that, all of a sudden, all of those intrusive, obsessive, and negative thoughts suddenly take over in your mind, and you find yourself again in a depression, find yourself again in a panic. Instead of that, just take the advice of Chazal, as we learned before. Don't talk. Like Avram Avinu said, don't talk. The problem is, when you tell so many lies, even when you tell the truth, I can't believe you. That's what we should realize for ourselves as well. And with that strength and with that ability, Ezra Hashem will all be able to overcome each and every one of our inclinations, our evil inclinations, to become better, to become greater people, and have more Emunah in Hashem. And Ezra Hashem, with that, to say Emunah is what's going to bring the Geula, we should merit to have the redemption speedily in our days. Amen.